Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Car, and we are way up in the Rockies. Literally, we're way up. We're almost 2 miles above sea level. And today, we finally got our hands on a 2015 Subaru Outback. It only took several months. Here's the good news. We're going to take it off-road. We're going to take it onto the roads. We're going to evaluate it, and just for you, we're going to get it dirty. And that's coming up next on the Fast Lane Car. Trying to turn around here. Turning radius isn't too bad for a really long vehicle. It reminds me a lot of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. This car competes with the Jeep Grand Cherokee, this version of it with the big 6-cylinder. The 4-cylinder version of this competes with the Jeep Cherokee. Now, this 6-cylinder version, okay, 36,000-ish. If you bought the Cherokee Trailhawk, it'd be very close in terms of price. Ability-wise, the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk is very capable off-road, and it is built to truly do off-road. It is more than a match for the Outback, but the Outback is a much more family-friendly car, easy for kids to scramble into, yet you have a very high seating position, a command position of the road. So that's awesome, you know, well done. It's an Outback. It's actually meant to be taken off-road, at least onto some pretty dirty and muddy roads, which is exactly what we did with it. And frankly, I think it looks good with some extra character. But even without the dirt on it, it's a much cleaner design than the vehicle it replaces. It's also a larger vehicle in every single dimension, and it weighs nearly 2 tons. I mean, the overall length is 189 inches plus. That's a lot. Think about it. It is longer than a lot of SUVs that are out there. Now, Subaru hasn't walked us through any of the interior upgrades. We've had to figure all of them out on our own, and I think it's actually a good thing. And the reason why? It's things like this fantastic wood that they finished with satin as opposed to a really heavy lacquer. It doesn't look like it's plastic or fake. It looks real. And it's a very nice touch, and it runs all through the dash. Very nice. The metals look real. A lot of the buttons feel more expensive. Everything is padded that you touch. Overall quality is the best I've seen out of Subaru. With that being said, I have to say 2 things. One, the driver's seat, although comfortable, doesn't provide a lot of support. It feels like it was overbuilt for my large American ass. Second, the overall design of the interior still feels like it's a car that's coming out of the early 2000s. But other than that, what a great layout. Oh, and by the way, optional rear seat heaters. Nice stuff. All in all, I think Subaru did a pretty damn good job. Right now, we're probably at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet, and we're on a relatively smooth. I was gonna say smooth and not smooth. My mouth is very dry from being at high altitude.
Oh, jeez, we need water.
Yeah,
Do you have water?
Yeah, that's water. What's got coffee in it? I don't know if you're gonna like it too much. Anyway, we're on a smooth piece of highway, and it's nice because it gives me an opportunity to put the Outback through its paces on the corners. I got my amigo and comrade Andre here.
Привет, друзья.
I mean, sup. That's how you say sup in Russian. Anyway, now this area was really affected by the flooding we had about a year? Not quite a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
It was a year ago?
It was in September. It was on my birthday.
Oh yeah, that's it. Now you guys know. And so we're going over these little ribbons where they have like all new highway because it was completely torn apart by the flooding. Anyway, this gives me an opportunity to go around some corners and be a little athletic with the Outback. Now, first thing you have to know is that it has 8 inches. What is my problem today? It has 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and that means that it's fantastic in the dirt and the snow. But when you're on these types of roads, it does wallow a little bit, and I've noticed that earlier when I was driving it. Now you think that's a problem. Because it's automated, it's actually very difficult by hand to open and close it. Believe me, I've tried a few times. But that's okay, because this makes up for it. 35.5 cubic feet of space right behind the second row. That's huge. Put the seats down, 73.3 cubic feet of space. Now go ahead and check it out for yourself. If you go online, find other vehicles it competes with, you're gonna find that this interior is probably really close to being best in class. And I gotta tell you one thing, aside from the fact that this automated tailgate is not exactly awesome, it's also very slow. I think it has a better ride than the Legacy. It absolutely feels like it's much more composed. It actually feels more rewarding on the highway in terms of everything just seems like it's muted just a little bit more.
And I think this one's running on 18-inch rims, right?
Yep, so these are even bigger wheels, and they are definitely not as forgiving as the 17-inch wheels, which come with the base model, right? Mm-hmm. So all in all, it's not bad. Now, when I go around a corner, I am not feeling a whole lot of nutting coming out of the steering wheel. So the overall steering feel is sort of non-existent, but the overall weight of the steering is pretty good. It's actually a fairly solid feel. Such a mellow car off-road. Going over some pretty heavy rocks right here. Not a big deal for the car. And it is a car, but it's as close as you're going to get to meshing a car together with a crossover SUV. Subaru was really smart about the way they did this. Look, I'm not a big fan of the continuously variable transmission, and neither are some of you. And right now there are some 8 and 9-speed transmissions out there that are really, really efficient and really work well with the power band. But with that said, this works fantastic. It's just a much more mellow, lethargic feeling. But when you put your foot down and you want to go, it will go. So that's freaking awesome. Subaru, Jeep, Subaru, Jeep, Subaru, Subaru, 4Runner. It's
I think so. There's a Legacy wagon. There's an XV Crosstrek, a Cherokee.
We're in the town of Gold Hill, an old mining town.
There's a 4Runner, another Impreza, Land Cruiser,
Cherokee. What's left of it?
2 Legacy. There's an Outback and a Legacy wagon. Another Outback.
And next to that, there was, when we came up here, there was
another
XV.
Of course, there's a X5.
Yeah, that's a tourist.
I don't think that belongs.
You want to bet money there's an out-of-state plate?
It is an out-of-state plate.
See how I roll?
You would have won.
Yeah.
Illinois.
There you go. Yeah, definitely a tourist. But then again, there's a little shop and a cafe here and whatnot, so makes sense.
Outback. Impreza. So I think 80% of the vehicles here are probably Subarus.
And this is true mountain town, right? The roads are not paved. They don't get plowed very often. They have the need for a vehicle that has really good all-wheel drive and ground clearance and everything else that's necessary to get it through some nasty snow. So there are a few big bad pickup trucks around here that are lifted, and a ton of old Subarus everywhere. Yeah, to see that? Yeah, that was.
It's got rust everywhere there.
Yeah, it still runs though. This is the 256 horsepower horizontally opposed 6-cylinder that makes 247 pound-feet of torque, and it's hooked up to a continuously variable transmission, a CVT. All the power goes to all four wheels because it is a Subaru, and most Subarus have all-wheel drive. In this particular case, this overall setup is surprisingly quick, but you can't quite tell because the CVT kind of mutes things. So you don't really feel the acceleration, but the next thing you know, you're passing cars on the freeway. All in all, it's a very, very potent engine. Now, you can get a 4-cylinder version of the horizontally opposed engine with the Subaru, which we will be testing, God willing, within the next 10 years. Good stuff. Do I want a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a 6-speed manual? You know it. Will I get it? Nope. Not unless it makes some sort of special edition, which they're not going to do anytime soon. With that being said, I actually had an opportunity a long time ago to drive one of the older Outbacks. I like to call them the sleek Outbacks. They were the ones that were really simple looking. Second generation, I believe, technically speaking. Whole new platform, but you could get a turbocharged engine and a manual transmission, and basically it was a WRX for the family. It was really, truly awesome. This is a pretty nifty little thing. This handle right here looks like a door handle. Well, actually you pull it and the seat goes down. Watch this. And we're facing up a hill and it does that. Look how flat it folds. That's impressive too. Check this out for space. I am impressed. The seat is angled for Andre, who has longer legs than me. His legs are like, like woolly mammoth from Siberia. The point is that there's so much more seat room back here, and there's some good room underneath the seat to put your feet, and good headroom. Altogether, a bigger interior in the back. If Roman says that way works, I'd believe him. He scratched up at the Raptor a little bit today when we were going off-road because there were some branches that were low-hanging.
Very narrow trail.
Very narrow trail. And as great and as awesome and as monstrous as the Raptor is, it is not very much fun to take on trails, especially if you're concerned about your paint. And these tires, they're Bridgestones. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine all-season tires, but they lost traction quite easily once we started going up our brand new Cliffhanger, which we may only use 1 or 2 times in the year. It really depends. But I will say this. I already feel confident off-road with it. On the streets, it's comfortable. On the highway, it just lofts along. Not a lot of steering feel, to be honest with you, but it's okay. And overall, if my spouse is looking for the safest car with the best all-wheel drive and off-road-ish ability, this would be the car. And you know what? On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm going to give the 2015 Subaru Outback with the 3.6 liter a buy it. Well done, Subaru. I wanted to be mad at this car because I haven't had a chance to really be in it, and it's a Rocky Mountain car, but I can't be mad. It's just really, really well done for what it's meant for. Would I buy it myself? Probably get the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk because I actually do go off-road and it has good rubber. But man, you really can't argue with the ability of this car. And I'm averaging 22 miles per gallon, and we've been off-road for a long-ass time. That is impressive. Once again, I would give this car a buy it. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan Adlin saying don't forget to go to tflcar.com for news, views, real-world reviews, and topless pictures of me. Nah, I probably shouldn't say that last part. Besides, I know the right person that you guys all want to see. Andre.